finance industry is fascinating to me because it's hundreds of years old and has only started to change in the last 5.
We thought there was a really great opportunity for Pepper to get involved with a startup community and working with people from diverse backgrounds to try and solve real-world problems.
In the UK, where the business originally started, there were very few non-banks in existence in that part of the world, and we didn't think that products were being provided to the consumer in the UK at the time that were relevant to them.
They have these stable systems that have been around a long time, but they've not really changed. They've not really adjusted to where the customers are at, what they need. And I see there's lots of opportunities there for improvement and aligning with modern technology.
Sometimes when you're within the 4 walls of a corporate organisation, you don't really get the understanding of the problems that are faced out by people on the street. When you're working with people that are facing those problems every day, we think there's some real power in making and working together with those people to solve those problems.
So I think the more we've got employees involved, explain that this is literally meant to be taking you out of BAU and coming up with brand new ideas, I think the more and more they've embraced it. And we've just done a global innovation challenge with all our companies around the world. So we got about 1,000 employees out of 1,800 across 6 countries involved. And the biggest feedback we got was the fact that it had a huge impact from an HR perspective, people getting involved and actually wanting to be part of it.
When I saw that there was an opportunity to actually play around with that idea and work with experts to sort of evolve it, I was really keen to find out more.
We've always been interested in looking at things from a fresh stance, and so this is a continuation really of that.
The sharing, the collaboration that goes on here is very powerful.
We went into this deliberately to come up with something left field, so hopefully we'll see that.
Financial services needs its Uber moment, and I really want to be a part of that. And in the world of startup, you can take an idea, test it, run it, put it on the shelf quicker than a lot of the big institutions can. They have teams of people spending millions of dollars over a couple of years for an idea that may or may not fly. Whereas in this environment, with this process and these type of people in this room, you can have an idea, find out really quickly if it's going to work, and if it is, it can just take off.
And I'm way more interested in the sort of dynamic, disruptive nature of young, ambitious, sort of online players that help smash all of that legacy thinking and old boys club.
We run the company through a global exco. On that global exco sit the individual country CEOs. Each one of those is handpicked to have that sort of entrepreneurial push to make sure that we're always sort of pushing the boundaries of where we can go.
It was the idea of simplifying the complexity. I know it sounds very cliche, but the fact that little things like saving money, how do you go about that? There were moments where I thought, I wish I had that.
Yeah, look, the process with Pollenizer that I've really got value out of is that there is some science to it. There's a process.
We can in fact grow a startup within a business like ours. I think it helps the fact that we're a very entrepreneurial culture and we're quite minded to grow rapidly and try new things. I'd like to think we're also not set in our ways, so we're willing to be lateral.
But yeah, I think we have seen sort of a burgeoning of new ideas and new approaches, which is particularly interesting for us to sort of invest into and look at from our own core business perspective.
Yeah, look, the guys from Pepper Money have been great. Like they're walking around the room, they're sharing their insights, their expertise with us, sharing their own personal experiences as well. So yeah, it's been very good being involved with those guys.
Pollenizer brings a wealth of experience in terms of coaching people how to go through the startup science process, and it's probably one thing we've lacked as a team over the last 6 months is a really great coach. So we're in market with a product, but we wouldn't call it an MVP, and we really know that now. And the other part was obviously working with Pepper. They have a number of channels to market and products that are going to help the people out that we're hoping to help as well. So how can we bring those two things together and kind of make a 10x improvement out of that experience?
Yeah, you can't let your ego get in the way. You've got to just be really open to new ideas and new perceptions of things, and you've got to let your idea sort of evolve over time. You can't be so married to it.
There are so many different avenues to go out there, and there are just so many different financial products, so many different financial companies, and there is quite an efficient way to lay out a startup and find out early on as to whether you think it will actually work, and at a low cost as well.
It's easy to underestimate how useful and how beneficial open communication with different people are. People you don't know, get to know their story and get to know what they're doing and how they do it, because you can learn an awful lot of information from people.
You can see a lot of dynamics and bouncing off each other happening even to the extent of challenging each other. So, you know, that's great.